How's it going, everybody? Welcome to OP Entertainment. I'm Omar Darwish.
And I'm Pratik Cherian.
And this is our review of Challengers. We're going to go spoiler-free. This was directed by Luca Guadagnino and written by Justin Kuritzkis.
Nice job. Good job.
Who's in this, Pratik?
Zendaya's in this. We've got Josh O'Connor and Mike Feist playing our... There's really not a ton of characters in this. Like, it's really just those three, and that's it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
They're all great.
We're kind of doing something different here. So usually we watch the movie and then like do this right afterwards.
Yeah.
And this time, just scheduling wise, we watched it separately, so we kind of have no idea what we think of this movie.
Yeah.
So Omar, what did you think of the movie?
I have a feeling we're on opposite sides. I just don't know. But I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was borderline masterpiece for most of it. I have some gripes with it, and I haven't really decided how much I'm gonna let those gripes affect like how I feel about the movie yet. So, which is crazy because I saw it like a few days ago. I've had like more time to digest this movie than most. But the acting is incredible. The tension building is incredible. The directing is really, really well done. Some editing choices and some overuse of the score, which I really love the score. The score is incredible, but a little overuse of the score and some editing choices that are a bit repetitive, I guess. Other than that, I really love this movie. A lot of great twists and turns. The acting is incredible from everybody. I do have a gripe though, but I want you to get your stuff off before I say my gripe.
You know, I'm actually shocked because we're not on opposite sides. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I love this. I love the movie. Love might be a little strong because I'm with you. There's some gripes that I have with it. With the score, I really enjoyed the score.
I loved it.
I think part of that might be because I had the early access last Monday, and so that was in Adobe. So I don't usually see a ton of movies in Adobe.
Yeah,
and so like that score really like hits you like at
all
the moments.
This movie, the sound mixing and sound design of this movie in general is awesome. Maybe just the tennis scenes are incredible, but the score is great.
All right, get into your gripes.
Okay. There, without spoiling it, because this is kind of a spoiler, so without spoiling it, I'll say
Actually, wait. Before we get into gripes, let's talk really like 2 sentences. What's the movie about?
Well, the movie is... the movie is pitched differently than I feel like what the movie is about, but I guess the movie is about... It's following these 3 characters, and it's a non-linear timeline, which kind of gets into what my gripe is. I like the non-linear timeline, but it's a non-linear timeline following them throughout their career, and it's very competitive.
Yeah, so the movie the movie stars Zendaya as Tashi, and Tashi is the wife and coach to Mike Feist's character Art.
Yeah.
And so she signs him up for this Challenger event, which is like a lower level qualifying tennis match. He's coming back from injury, so it's a way for him to like get his confidence up. Like, you're gonna go play this event where you're much better than everyone there, as a way to like get back in your groove. Yeah. And it also turns out that Josh O'Connor's character Patrick is there, and Patrick has a history with both of them.
Yeah.
And so the movie's kind of centered, like when you say it's non-linear, it is kind of centered around this tournament and this match. Because,
but it's
that's kind of the centerpiece of where everything's unfolded around. And then as the movie goes, like we get the flashbacks to various points of the past.
Story of this movie, the bulk of the story of this movie is happening in different time periods than the main event of the movie, I'll say, which I really enjoyed, but I felt it was overused and it doesn't work actually in some parts with me. And the biggest part is I thought the two main actors, I thought they did a good job of playing like young and old, because it's a big jump. Like, is it a spoiler to say it's a 13-year jump? We're jumping between 13 and 12 years, and like it's hard to see.
The earliest timeline that we see them is like they're still in high school, not even in college.
They're playing. They're 18, and at the end they're 31. Is what I gathered.
Yes, yeah.
And listen, Zendaya is probably like 30, right? But I just can't buy her with like a 5-year-old kid, and that's not even the bulk of it. The bulk of it is this. I don't know if it's just everything else I've seen Zendaya in, but I just did not buy her as intimidating when she's like. There's scenes where she has to like really be a boss, and like the script is great, and she's not being eaten alive by the script or anything. I'm not saying that. I think she's giving a passable performance for it. Ooh. I just didn't buy why, number one, why either one of these guys are intimidated by her, and number two, why either one of these guys would be infatuated or in love with her. and there's only really one 30-second, minute-long scene in that it shows her talent. So like I don't like as far as tennis. So that would show why she's like the Michael Jordan of tennis and why these guys would love her. I just feel like her character is almost just talked about way too much and not shown as to why she's a badass. And there's a reason why we don't get to see that potential. But
see, I disagree with you. Actually, first of all, I thought this performance was probably the best performance I've ever seen from Zendaya.
oh yeah, I disagree.
I thought that she brought. She played this character much differently than any other Zendaya character that's there.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought that I thought that she really, really, really did a great job at bringing this character to life, where you get the depth of her, you understand the drive of her.
In moments, but I just felt like it wasn't consistent enough for me. Like I'm not gonna. Yeah. This is definitely the role that Zendaya should have gone for right now. Like against type for sure. Like I just didn't feel like. I don't know. You ever see like the memes and it's like how my girlfriend thinks she looks when she's yelling at me, and it's like Godzilla, and it's like how she actually looks, and it's like a kid in like pajamas.
No,
like Godzilla pajamas.
I disagree with you. I felt like entirely.
I'm just like, why especially because like I don't know. I just felt like Zendaya is capable of bringing it, and she was just yelling in lowercase for a lot of it for me, and I'm like, I don't know. I didn't feel the intimidation from her that the two main characters felt. That being said, the two main characters really expressed how she made them feel. So I still got it.
It's not even intimidation though. At like there are points, because this is a person.
But there's points where she's supposed to be intimidating.
Well, because the fact of the matter is, her character is probably the most driven and most focused character out of the three of them. So it's not even so much intimidation. It's just she's the one with the strongest personality.
Sure. I feel like she's written to have the strongest personality. I just didn't feel like I got that performance from Zendaya. And I know I'm going to probably be the huge minority on this.
You are definitely in the minority.
But that just really, and I got to see it again. And I think it was just the fact, like, why couldn't it have just been like a 7 or 8 year jump? Like, I just wasn't buying that she was 18 and now she's 30 something, even though she is in like about 30 in real life. She played 18 well. I don't know.
Well, speaking as someone who is 30 something.
Sure.
Yeah. I get what you're saying when it came to like her interactions with her child, and that was just like, those were a little bit much for me. That's where like
it was jarring.
That's where the age like stretched believability.
Yeah.
But any scene that didn't have her playing the like mother role, like perfectly natural. I thought it worked every scene except that.
Yeah, there was only a couple of moments, and like it's mostly because I feel like this movie is like a masterpiece. So when you notice a little bit of a chip in something, like you notice it on a masterpiece. And Zendaya is a great actress. I'm not gonna.
There might be some chips. It's not with Zendaya's performance.
I don't know if it's necessarily her performance.
I feel incredibly strongly about that.
I feel like it's just like a miscasting. Like I just feel like it's miscasting in this. I don't know. I know I'm definitely in the minority, but I don't even want that to be the bulk of this review because I really love this movie. But that is my gripe, and I got to see it again to see like how much it affects like how I feel about this movie. But,
sure. What else? Anything else you had?
Did we touch on the editing? How did you feel about how this movie was kind of frantically edited? I enjoyed it for most of it. But
I think this movie overall is like, it's weird to call it like fun, but it does feel it feels
it's fun.
It feels like an adult version of like the fun summer blockbuster.
Okay.
I think for me, my main gripe with the movie is towards the end. I think it gets a little too cute. It's like with specifically with some of the editing choices.
Yes,
I'm not going to say what they are.
It becomes very self-aware of like it almost feels like the director is.
They do a couple things. They do a couple things with like POVs where I'm just like that. Yeah,
and the score and
yeah.
There's. Okay, without spoiling it, did you like the ending or did you not like the ending? Because I know people are kind of torn on this. I really like the ending.
I didn't so much. Again, I'm not quite sure that it earned what it was doing. Like, I see what it was doing. I'm not quite sure it earned that.
Really?
Yeah.
See, because I thought the ending was...
I don't even know that we can talk more about it without getting too far.
Did you feel the ending was too telegraphed?
There were a lot of beats of the ending that I thought were really, really telegraphed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really liked it, and I thought the ending really kind of brought it home for me, and I definitely want to see it again, and I'm not going to take anything away from Zendaya. I think she's a great actress, and I think she's capable of this kind of role. I just don't know for some reason for me, and it could just be because I'm used to seeing her in so many other things where she's not this, that like
Yeah.
I wanted
Maybe.
to see this be like a breakout like turn for her, and it just like didn't. I don't know. She never got to that level for me, but like maybe that could change seeing it again, and I'm not gonna let it affect like.
Yeah. No, I mean overall, I love the score of this. I thought the directing was excellent. I thought a lot of the like cinematography, the shots, like again, my gripes about some of the choices at the end aside, like through most of it, it's shot really really well,
Yeah.
and the focus is where it needs to be. I think
The movie's always focused for sure. I would
yeah.
say.
I think the tennis metaphor in there was interesting and something that I haven't seen too much of, so I thought that was interesting.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor, but it's also very much about tennis. Still, this movie, like that's not like the at core what it's about. But this is a very like if you're a tennis head out there, I think you'll be happy with this movie.
Yeah, no, I agree, but for as much as the tennis is authentic and it's like shot really well, but in the larger scheme of it, tennis is really a metaphor more
Sure,
for
yeah,
like
yeah.
personal relationships and dynamic, and I thought that was really really interesting the way that
Yeah.
it played with those two things. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the movie. I wouldn't be shocked if and this might say more about the slate of movies set to come out this year. I wouldn't be shocked if I walk away from this being my favorite movie of the year.
So when I was putting it on my list, I remember that thinking, okay, this is probably going to end up at least in my top 5. Like I'd be shocked if this drops out of my top 5. Like, but it's a good movie year if this isn't in my top 5. Yeah, we've only had like Dune and like there's a couple movies you haven't liked this year. So yeah, your list is one movie you've liked, and the rest are not good so far. But.
And the one movie is Challengers.
Yeah, exactly. But did you score it? Did you want to score it?
Yeah. I've been waffling between an 8 and a 9 all week. I think I'm gonna go with an 8, but I reserve the right
Ooh.
to bump it up.
That's crazy because I feel like I'm gonna go higher and I'm gonna go 9, and I feel like I had a bigger or
Yeah.
at least a gripe with this movie that was noticeable for me, which isn't necessarily the time jumps, but it's just I don't know how necessarily I felt or how much I believed Zendaya's age jumping. That being said, directing was great. The score is incredible. The performances are great, and I honestly can't wait to see this movie again. Like, yeah,
This is
9
one
out
of
10.
this is one of those movies that like when I find people who have seen it, I'm going to want to talk about it.
For sure, yeah, it's a conversation starter.
It's a conversation movie for sure. So it's kind of hard for me to like really go all in this type of format.
Yeah.
But man, this is the kind of movie you want to watch and talk about.
Yeah,
a
I would
lot.
definitely recommend this to everyone.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a weird one to recommend to like your parents, but but anyone else, go ahead, recommend it.
Your parents, kids that have
Yeah, maybe
you know.
not kids. All right, guys.
All right, we'll see
you
ya.
next week.